if Harris gets in, I think the month of November and December could be very good for Bitcoin. I think if Trump gets in, I think we have an immediate jump, because I think that means all crypto gets reevaluated. I think the SEC gets changed. I think the Elizabeth Warren choke point 2.0 plan gets thrown in the garbage. And I think we immediately jump to well above 100,000. I mean, very quickly. It wouldn't surprise me if we end the year up more like 140,000, 180,000, something like that. I mean, we could just have an exponential rise.
The future of Bitcoin holds a promising and bullish outlook, with experts pointing to its growing role in global finance. As a decentralized digital asset, Bitcoin continues to gain institutional support and mainstream acceptance. Its scarcity, coupled with increasing adoption, suggests potential for significant value appreciation. Advocates believe Bitcoin's potential to act as a hedge against inflation and its technological innovations will drive future growth, making it a cornerstone in the evolving financial landscape despite its inherent volatility. In line with this optimistic outlook, DotKrueger highlights that October has historically been a strong month for Bitcoin, with the past 5 Octobers showing particularly favorable outcomes, especially during presidential election years. Building on September's remarkable performance, he emphasized 20% plus improvements in recent years, voicing optimism about the possibility of Bitcoin hitting $80,000 in the coming October. Krueger projected that if Kamala Harris wins the presidential election, it will first cause modest regulatory difficulties but eventually boost Bitcoin owing to continuing money printing. According to him, a Donald Trump victory might result in an immediate price increase, fueled by favorable regulatory changes, with prices potentially topping $100,000 by the end of the year. Krueger saw the current situation as a favorable moment to acquire Bitcoin, emphasizing the significance of creating a profitable position to capitalize on future exponential growth. Let's watch some clips from the interview for further insights into DotKrueger's discussion. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more exclusive content. Enjoy the video.
But let's look at these numbers. They're pretty remarkable. We had 2 negative Octobers. We've had the last 5 Octobers have been good. The 2 Octobers in a presidential year cycle have been good. So we've just been having a very, very good month of October. I wouldn't bet against it. And if you look at these numbers a little bit more closely, you can kind of see these numbers are actually really good. 20% plus, 30% in 2021, 30% effectively last year. So could we move 20% in October? Yeah, I think we can. From 60,000, that'll get us over 70,000 in October. I think 70K in October is definitely doable. Maybe even 80K, maybe even all-time high in October. Seems possible. So wouldn't bet against it. We had especially a exceptionally good September. In September was a bad seasonal month, and we had a very good September. So, and the best one on record, actually. And in the other months where September was positive, as Beagle points out, October was great too. So here in 2016, September was good, October was good. In 2015, September is good, October is very good. And in 2023, September was good, October was great. I think nominally, if Harris wins, there might be an initial phase of, oh, I'm disappointed, I should sell Bitcoin. There's going to be more regulation on Bitcoin. I think that would be only very small, very nominal, and pretty soon the greater realization that money printing is going to continue will go on. That'll be very good for Bitcoin. So I don't even think that realization is going to take more than a month. So even if Harris gets in, I think the month of November and December could be very good for Bitcoin. I think if Trump gets in, I think we have an immediate jump, because I think that means all crypto gets reevaluated. I think the SEC gets changed. I think the Elizabeth Warren choke point 2.0 plan gets thrown in the garbage. And I think we immediately jump to well above 100,000. I mean, very quickly. It wouldn't surprise me if we end the year up more like 140,000, 180,000, something like that. I mean, we could just have an exponential rise. I'm not playing this thing day to day. I don't trade the market. I'm just long Bitcoin. Sometimes I buy a little bit more Bitcoin. I think it's a good time to buy Bitcoin right here. You're below the trend line. You've got a possible catalyst on the way up. So if you buy and Trump gets elected, which the poly market odds are now saying 50-50, then you've got a really good position. It's great to be really in the money in Bitcoin, because then you sort of care less. It drops 20%, you don't care. If you just bought, it drops 20%, you're hurting. It's really good to get your foot in the door and to have a position that's like profitable and has a big margin of profit in it. Certainly the legal environment is going to change very favorably to Bitcoin in the next year if Trump's elected. And if Trump's not elected, it's not the end of the world for Bitcoin. It might be the end of the world for the U.S. economy, but maybe not. But certainly not for Bitcoin. So I'm very, very. I think we're in a very good position.
Fred Krueger cautioned against utilizing dollar cost averaging (DCA) to invest in Bitcoin, suggesting that it could result in buying at double the price. He believes Bitcoin's price would rise owing to triggers such as global chaos, citing previous precedents of when turmoil helped Bitcoin. Krueger questioned Coinbase's reserve verification method and recommended self-custody instead. He pointed out that, unlike individual Coinbase users, BlackRock's dedicated addresses and nodes are used for real-time verification. Krueger remains hopeful about the recession, predicting a mini-boom instead. He anticipates interest rates to fall, resulting in a large liquidity cycle that will help Bitcoin. He went further to stress the importance of not opposing the Federal Reserve's monetary policy, arguing that this will drive short-term gains and make the current situation very good for Bitcoin. Let's go back to the interview and watch more clips to gain insights from Fred Krueger.
DCA, Bitcoin. I think you should, if you have money that you're going to invest, I would kind of invest it. I wouldn't sort of just trickle it out on DCA. I don't think that's a great idea, because you might be trickling it out twice the price. I think we're going to go higher in Bitcoin. So Iran, Israel tension. These have typically been good buying opportunities, right? And I have this one page in our book about, Saylor says, it doesn't say war is good for Bitcoin, but he says chaos is good for Bitcoin. So whenever there's chaos, it does end up being good for Bitcoin. Maybe not on the day of the chaos, but overall it tends to be good for Bitcoin. BlackRock has all the BTC. They give Coinbase a window. Now, do I think Coinbase, for like their base product and their, what's it called? CBBTC is 100% backed? I wouldn't trust that thing. I gotta tell you, I would not. Probably okay, but the fact that they don't have any proof of reserves or anything is just disturbing. So I wouldn't use Coinbase. There's better things to use, and of course, you should always self-custody, right? So, BlackRock's relation with Coinbase is not the same as your relation with Coinbase. They have dedicated addresses that are there. They're running their own nodes that they can verify that the Bitcoin in those dedicated addresses is actual Bitcoin. They're not just relying on some accountant once a quarter to verify the reserves. They're verifying those reserves in real time. So you don't have those dedicated addresses in Coinbase. You can't see where your Bitcoin is when you put it in. So not your keys. You can't see the Bitcoin. I'm out. I'm not concerned about a recession impacting Bitcoin. So what is the scenario there? The scenario is recession comes in, we get some form of, we possibly get stagflation, but we get a fall in US stocks, and there's a fleeing of risk assets in general, and Bitcoin just gets trampled as we have this recession. I don't think that that's really going to happen right now. I think more likely they'll just cut rates to 2%, and we'll have a little mini boom. It's kind of my view. Hey, Brent. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. I think in general, interest rates are going lower, and that's all you need to know, right? So, we are going to be at 3%. We're going to have a 3% handle on our interest rates in 6 months. And there's $6 trillion in money market funds right now. We are in this beginning of this really big liquidity cycle. And so I think the liquidity is, Michael Howell from Cross Border had made this very clear. Liquidity is what drives short-term moves. We're going to a very positive liquidity cycle here. This liquidity cycle should end at the end of next year. Do not fight the Fed. Do not fight the global money printers. This thing is going to be very, very good for Bitcoin.
Fred Krueger is still optimistic about Bitcoin's future. Meanwhile, Trump's chances have reportedly increased by 1%, while Kamala Harris's chances have decreased by the same amount, putting Trump as the current frontrunner at 50%. The Trump administration is anticipated to pursue pro-crypto policies, potentially driving up Bitcoin prices. The relationship between global threats and Bitcoin is complicated. When tensions grow, Bitcoin usually falls, but these dangers also help Trump's chances. Analysts believe a Trump victory would favor Bitcoin, whereas a Harris win would have the reverse effect. Bitcoin call option predictions have surged, with open interest for $80,000 strike price options expiring on December 27th, increasing by 1,300 Bitcoin in just 2 days. Some analysts reject the idea of Bitcoin as digital gold, viewing it more as a hedge against traditional financial challenges. Bitcoin's price has followed consistent patterns across several market cycles. While long-term investors hold the largest share of Bitcoin since mid-2021, many are currently facing unrealized losses. Short-term holders have witnessed increased profitability, with 62% of short-term supply now profitable. The volume of profits taken is 14.17 times that of losses taken. Long-term holders own 47.4% of Bitcoin, which is in loss. Coins purchased around Bitcoin's all-time high of $73,000 are now being kept for a loss. Despite this, the losses aren't serious enough to warrant concern. Investors are taking advantage of opportunities to cash out, indicating possible optimism about the market's future. As we wrap up, who do you think has the right outlook for Bitcoin's future? Those predicting a drop below $60,000, or others forecasting prices between $80,000 and $100,000? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video, and thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more updates.